Welcome back. My name is Caleb Oliver and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the book Crushing It by GaryVee. But before we start, just comment the phrase down below, crushing it, because that is the topic for today's video. Alright, let's get started. Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk, or GaryVee for short, is a book that encourages you to create a strong personal brand by using social media. This book highlights the stories of both GaryVee and other entrepreneurs who have success because of correctly using social media. GaryVee is well qualified to talk about how to use social media, as he was an early adopter of many social media platforms such as YouTube and Twitter. And if you know GaryVee, I'm sure you've seen some of his motivational content in the form of video on Instagram or YouTube. GaryVee wants you to know that people who are crushing it are those who learn how to use social media to their advantage and then execute their plan until they have major success. GaryVee wants you to crush it, and I do too. So here are the top 5 ideas I got from reading this book. First we have number 1. And number 1 here is learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You learn from them. Here's a quote from the book from GaryVee. Hear me now. You are better off being wrong 10 times and being right 3 than you are if you try only 3 times and always get it right. So what he's saying here is you need to try something new and learn from it. Either you're successful and you win, or if you fail, you learn from it. And GaryVee kind of likes to fail because he sees in his failure he's getting one step closer to another success, because in that failure he learned, and then he's able to take those learned skills and apply that to the next venture that he's about to embark upon. This is why GaryVee suggests that you try to use all social media platforms to grow your personal brand. And that brings us to number 2. And number 2 here is try all social media. You need to do this because either one of 2 things is going to happen. Either 1, the site will blow up and you're going to grow with it, or 2, the site will fail and you will learn from your failure and take these lessons and use them on the next social media platform you'll find. So this is like a transferable skill. It didn't work at one job, so you took it to another job. So it's the same thing with social media. It didn't work on one platform, and one platform failed. So you took everything you learned from that platform and then you went ahead and applied it to another platform and you were successful there. GaryVee gave an example of how he went hard on a social media site for months, but then it ended up failing. But he used everything he learned from that platform to be successful on the next social media platform. So he encourages us to do the same, because eventually if we stick at it and we keep going, we keep using everything we learn, we will be successful. Now we have number 3. And number 3 here is always watch for the next thing. Whether that's the next hot social media platform, or it's the next big trend, or it's the next great business opportunity, always be looking for what the next new big thing is. And you want to do that because that is how you grow. That's how you're at the cutting edge. You want to be sure you get in early so you have a big chance at being successful. For example, if a social media site comes out, you want to be one of the first ones using it, so that way when it blows up, you'll have big success. By the time it's being talked about on the news and on TV, it's almost too late. It's not too late because you can always, make it work for you. But it's about the people who get in early who have the most success. For example, just like in the stock market, by the time a company goes public and people are talking about, oh, I want to buy this company, and oh, it's so big, it's rising. Like, you might make some money, but the people who made the most money were the people who heard about it before it went public, before all this news hype was going on, and they've already made them millions and billions, while you're just trying to struggle to make extra hundreds, few hundreds, or thousands. So it's the same thing here. Get in early so you can be the one who benefits the most. You also want to focus on the next big thing, because that's something you can control. Don't talk about,
oh, I missed this past opportunity, or oh, I wish it was 5 months ago or 10 years ago.
All you have is what's in the future. You have currently now and what can happen in the future. So take that and go from that. And this is an example from the book. There was a guy at the end of the book who was being interviewed, and he was a successful podcaster, and his friends were saying, oh man, I missed the podcasting wave. And he said, well, you missed other social media waves too. But that's why you have to, and this is a quote from him, always keep your eyes on that horizon. You always have to look for the new thing. That way you can take advantage of what is going to come in the future, and you'll be very successful because you got in early. And I just want to say, if you're getting any value out of this video, just click the like button down below. Also click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll be notified the moment I post my next video. And just comment the phrase down below, crushing it. Also, we're going to do a question of the day. And the question of the day is, how are you crushing it? What are you doing on social media to create a strong personal brand? I know a lot of you out there are also my fellow YouTube friends, and if not, I know you definitely have a social media site because that's how you're looking at YouTube right now. So, just let me know in the comment section, how are you crushing it, or how do you plan on crushing it in the near future? And now we have number 4. Number 4 here is, don't ignore old social media. Do not reject social media that is played out. For example, Snapchat or Facebook as of this recording in August 2020. Don't reject these platforms for a few reasons. The first reason is these platforms may become popular again. And if they do, you want to be ready. If you have a following on these platforms, it will be easier for you to find success if the platform becomes successful again. So for example, Snapchat may not be that popular, but if you keep posting there, if it has a second wave or third wave, you'll be in it and you'll be able to gain success from that. Also, you want to diversify. You don't just want to be big on one platform, because if that platform disappears, then your brand may disappear. So don't do that. Instead, be known on many social media platforms in order to grow a strong personal brand. And this is what GaryVee talks about there. Some people only want to focus on one site, but you need to grow, because if, for example, if they just shut off YouTube tomorrow, that could be it for some people. But that's why you want to be on Instagram and TikTok, so that way you have followers. And on a side note, from the ideas that GaryVee mentioned in the book, this is what I got out of it. You want to build a strong personal brand so that you have people who will follow you, and they will follow you throughout your career so that you maintain success. So for example, these people follow you so hard that if you start a YouTube channel, they'll like and subscribe. If you start a movie, they'll watch your movie. If you write a book, they'll read your book. If you start selling merch, they'll buy your merch, and etc. Because you have strong followers, and that's why it's important to start a strong brand. You don't just want some random people, click like and random people to buy your stuff. You want people who are going to follow you, because that's how you're going to maintain success and actually have long-term success. The third reason you don't want to reject old social media is because some people still use these sites, so you want to give them something to look at. Also, you want to prepare the next generation to actually know you. GaryVee mentioned that he uses social media where a younger audience is, and I think the social media he mentioned was Snapchat. He does this so he can introduce himself to the younger audience now, so that in a few years when they become an adult, they will actually consume his content and buy his products. He's like planting a seed in their mind, like, hey, I'm GaryVee, so that way in the future, they'll actually use his products and consume his content. When I heard this, I'm like, GaryVee's on a whole nother level. We're just today trying to get likes and subscribe and get some people who's in it now, but he's thinking so far ahead, like 10 years in advance, getting like 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds to like be introduced to his content, so by the time they turn 18 and 20 and they become an adult and have more autonomy, they can actually consume his content. I thought, wow, that's big. That's a really big idea for GaryVee. And now we have number 5. Number 5 here is, be yourself. I learned this through hearing about others becoming successful. When you hear a super specific example of how someone got rich and famous, it's very easy to think,
oh, I'm not like that person. Or, oh, I don't have those skills.
But instead of comparing yourself to that person and trying to copy their success, You should create your own success by doing the things that you're good at and talking about the topics that you like to talk about. The overall idea is you cannot copy and paste success. Instead, you must learn from what others did to be successful and create your own path to success. So for example, if we take YouTuber here, Graham Stephan, if I wanted to learn to be successful from him, I need to look at the general things he did in terms of becoming a real estate agent and buying properties to rent them and being consistent on YouTube and finding a good niche and staying consistent. I need to look at the overall pictures and duplicate that to achieve success. But I cannot literally copy and paste his whole story because I'm not him. I cannot go back to the housing market crash when he became a real estate agent and duplicate all of his sales and try and duplicate everything he says and does on his channel because I'm not him and it's not going to work. So the same way I'm not him, you're not me. We're all unique people, so let's find what works for us. Let's find our niche, let's find that angle, and work that angle until we're successful. I recommend this book to anyone who has a business in 2020 and moving forward into the future, because you will need a strong brand to reach high levels of success. I encourage you to experience this book so you can learn from others who became successful by growing strong brands on social media. If you're interested in learning from other success too, you can click the card right over here and watch another one of my book reviews. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.